Today, we're jumping into something really fascinating, the spot where technology, money, and a nation's growth all collide in Ghana. We're going to look at how the country's construction sector, which should be booming, is actually kind of crippled by all these hidden problems. And then, we'll see how a really smart AI blueprint might just be the key to unlocking all that potential.
Okay, let's kick things off with a number that's, well, it's just staggering. This year alone, Ghanaians living all over the world sent home an estimated, get this, $6.65 billion.
Now, to help you wrap your head around that, that is 4 times more than all the foreign investment the country gets combined. We're talking about a serious economic powerhouse here. And you know where a huge chunk of that money is supposed to go? To one big dream, building a home back in Ghana.
But, and this is really the heart of the whole story, what happens when that dream turns into a total nightmare? You know, a nightmare of budgets spiraling out of control, endless delays, and just a complete breakdown of trust. That's the problem we're going to unpack.
So this leads us to what you could call Ghana's construction paradox. It's a weird situation, right? On the one hand, you've got this market that is just exploding. So much growth, so much potential. But if you look just a little closer, underneath it all, it's being eaten away by some really deep-seated problems.
And I mean, the scale of this growth is just wild. The construction sector is on track to be 15% of Ghana's entire GDP. That's more than double what it was just a few years back. But all that fast growth, it's kind of like papering over some really big cracks in the foundation.
Okay, so let's actually look at those cracks. What are these problems that keep derailing projects? We've boiled it down to 4 really critical issues. First up, huge cost overruns. We're talking projects ending up costing up to 40% more than what was planned. 40%. That's because material prices are all over the place, and frankly, the initial planning is often just not good enough. I mean, can you imagine your budget suddenly jumping by almost half? For most people, that's a total deal breaker. Then you've got the delays. Oh, the delays. You know, messing up resource management, simple mistakes on the job site. It all adds up. Schedules just get pushed back and back and back again. And it's not just annoying, it's super frustrating. And of course, it costs everybody more money. Number 3, and this one is really serious, it's all about safety. There's widespread non-compliance with the official Ghana Building Code. See, when everything is done with pen and paper manually, it becomes almost impossible to check if a building actually meets the safety standards. That's a huge risk.
And that brings us full circle, right back to the diaspora investors. All that money we talked about, that capital is sitting there, ready to go. But because there's this huge lack of trust and transparency, it just doesn't get invested effectively. It creates this giant gap where all that potential just disappears.
And look, the stakes here are incredibly high. We're talking about a country that has a housing shortage of over 2 million homes. So these problems, they're not just frustrating for a few people, they're literally holding the entire nation back from solving a critical need.
So you have to ask, right? Why does this keep happening? We live in an age with a digital fix for everything. So why is the construction industry still stuck in the past? Well, that's what we call the digital transformation gap.
And this really lays out the whole standoff perfectly. On one side, you've got all these barriers holding things back. The tech costs a lot up front. There's a skills gap, no real incentives to change, and let's be honest, a cultural resistance. You know, this is how we've always done it. But then you look at the other side, and the benefits are exactly the solutions to the problems we just talked about. Lower costs, better quality, way more safety, and, the big one, more trust.
So the big question is, how do you break this gridlock? Well, this is where a new wave of technology, specifically AI, steps in. Let's take a look at an AI-powered blueprint that's designed to go right at these problems, and it's a platform called GhanaHousePlanner.
And its mission is super clear. This isn't some generic, off-the-shelf software. It's a platform built from the ground up for Ghana's construction ecosystem, designed to handle its very specific challenges and opportunities.
This really sums up the difference, doesn't it? The old way is all manual drawings, budgets that are basically just guesswork, and if you're not physically on the site, you have no idea what's going on. The new way, it's all about AI-generated plans, costs based on actual data, and tracking that's totally transparent for everyone involved.
So how does this thing actually work? Well, it all starts with their AI design agent. You just describe what you want in plain English. The AI then spits out professional 2D and 3D floor plans. You can then tweak and customize them in an editor, and here's the game changer. The plans are automatically compliant with the Ghana building code right from the start. Boom! That one feature attacks both bad planning and safety issues in one go.
Okay, what about those crazy cost overruns? The platform tackles that by using real-time pricing data. It tracks over 100 different materials across all 16 regions of Ghana. So the budget you get isn't some vague national average. No, it's a super precise estimate based on your design in your location right now.
And this is huge for those diaspora investors we keep talking about. It gives them a whole set of tools built specifically to create trust. You can track the project step by step, you get photos to verify that work is actually done, and you could even print out audit reports. It's all about giving you complete oversight from thousands of miles away. It's about peace of mind.
All right, let's zoom out for a second and think about the big picture here, because this isn't just about building one house a little better. What happens when this kind of digital change scales up across the entire country?
Well, the ultimate goal is to finally start chipping away at that massive 2 million home housing deficit. If you can make every single project cheaper, faster, and safer, you've suddenly got a model that you can repeat over and over and over again.
So really, the key takeaway here is this. Once you solve that core problem of trust, you unleash that incredible wave of diaspora investment. You're basically creating a direct pipeline for that $6.6 billion to build a Ghana that's safer, more efficient, and more transparent for everybody.
And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. You know, this might be a Ghanaian solution for a Ghanaian problem, but think about it. The issues it's solving, cost overruns, zero transparency, the need to build trust with investors abroad, those aren't unique to Ghana. They're everywhere. So could this be more than just a local fix? Could we be looking at a blueprint for the future of construction in emerging economies all over the world?